Hi, welcome to the next edition of Sweet Deck List. I got 5 decks to talk about today, starting off with basically a mono blue devotion, if that's a thing, and Pioneer. So let me know down in the comment section which one of these decks is your favorite. If I can get them on Arena, I might do them for a live stream or potentially even a paywall video for YouTube exclusive. So that's what I'm trying to be focusing on a lot more. If you're interested in watching tons of meta deck analysis videos, I'm going to be uploading them pretty fast right out of the gate. I might even actually start making them for these kind of video decks here, where I give a high level overview of like I do here, and I might even give it a deeper analysis about the deck in a paywall video. So make sure you go ahead and check down below where you can find a link to join, so you start getting access to pretty much all the decks that I feature on the channel already been uploaded. So you get all those early access events, and plus you get additional content like analysis type stuff. So let's get into these deck lists. We have, like I said, we have 5, and let's get into it. So right out of the gate, we got this mono blue with the Nykthos. Only a single copy, which is kind of weird. Oh, we have a Hall and Sunken Citadels and some Fountain Ports down here for a little bit of utility for the Sunken Citadel. And we have Field of Ruin to answer main lands from our opponent. And this deck looks like we're trying to use the Jewel and the Hawker as a way to, use that mana, pay into a Bank Buster, cycle our Typhoons, as well as, I think there's one more thing. Yeah, Crab for a little bit of counter spells. So that's kind of nice. And I'm not sure if it works with the Whale, but the fact that we're playing the Whale makes me think it might. But I'm not 100% sure. The new card this deck is playing is Unable to Scream. It's this, I guess, is Mono Blue's preferred choice for a removal spell. We have Brazen Borrower to address a little bit of hate spells for this deck. Sideboard, though, we do have some Fading Hopes for the aggro matchups, Pithy Needles for stuff like Teferi and whatnot, so it's kind of nice there. We have 2 Change the Equations to counter cheap spells, plus I believe red and green, 2 negates for non-creature spells, so against control, as well as Mystical Dispute. Negate and Stroke is also good against Lotus Field, as well as other combo-based strategies. And then we have Hearse for Graveyard Hate, which is like Phoenix, Fang, anything like that. And that is the mono blue Jewel deck, which I definitely could try on Arena. We do have, like I said, we have counter spells with like 3 steps ahead. You could also copy, a Hawker or something like that if you need a little bit more ramp, which is kind of interesting. I believe this thing also hits artifacts. I could be fully wrong. I think it's creature or artifact. But so that is the deck. Let's get into my next deck. Through PayPal, I'm offering for $20 play your deck through a league. I also give you an article about how to improve the list, and as well as some sideboard guides and very particular matchups. If you want to check out the link, is in the description. Now, let's get back into the video. Alright, so next on my list, we have this 5-color Legends deck. So this deck, of course, is the Azeret combo inside of it. Plus, we have Relic of Legends to make it where we tap our Azeret and keep bouncing it using the additional mana to recast it. We have Honest Runestein as a way to discount the Azeret. So it costs 2 mana, plus, like I said, you produce 1 from Relic of Legends. So basically, you need 1 mana to loop this. And you can go through the entire dungeon. I don't see the other card that works with it. But that's fine, right? So I don't see it, but I think we still should be pretty reasonable. We can keep looping and discarding, drawing and discarding with Rona. We have Lavinia or Lazoff as a way to copy something in our graveyard. We have Nahashi as a way to mill our library. Man, we have 4 Inties, 4 Slowgurks to help work with Nahashis as a way to keep filling up our lands. And then we have Urtai, a couple copies in the main, 2 in the side for a little bit of counter magic plus removal. 3 Fatal Push because it's just a really good magic card. There's no Thoughtseizes, which is a little weird. And then we have a couple Titanias. I don't see the land that lets you meld. So I guess we're not having that feature in the deck, but that's a little sad. And I guess it is what it is. And then there's one Teshar as an additional way to potentially do a little bit of comboing. So that's kind of nice. I don't really see any Mox Ambers, which is a little weird. Let me know in the comment section if you guys can spot the actual infinite combo. There has to be, I imagine, one in here, which is why I got a 5-0. Right? It has to be one in here. Even if like Teshar, but something has to go infinite. Runestein allows you to pick up one card that you mill, maybe the Azeret or the Teshar. But at the same time, it only discounts your spells by 1. So I'm not sure what gives you that additional extra mana to keep looping this Azeret. Because you don't play the 3-drop, tap it, produce 2 mana type creature. But sideboard, we have 3 Thought Seizes. We can cut the Fatal Pushes for against combo and control. We have additional Fatal Push in case we face aggro. And then we have a Negate for additional extra counter magic against control and combo. We have Anafenza. I guess this is a alternative way to beat down, maybe? Or it's a card that you can maybe bring in for a slight bit of graveyard hate. Because you kill their, I guess, their reoccurred Phoenix, it does get exiled. An additional Titania, I'm not really sure why you want another one. If you were the deck builder of this deck, let me know in the comment section. We have one Nicol Bolas, just because it's based, I'm guessing. It is a 4/4 for 4 that legend that makes them discard a card. 2 Lilianas for control. 2 Artistus. Man, Aristus. I can't even say the name of the spider. Oh my gosh. But this is really good against decks that have high amounts of instant sorceries. Like Phoenix, you make a bunch of 1/2s. They just chump block Shredder all day. So that's kind of nice because it Urtai is a little bit of counter magic plus additional removal. Then we have Italian. I'm assuming this is for Phoenix or something like that, where you could just name 1 mana value and they cast tons of them, like Op, Consider, whatever. They just take some 2 life. You draw a card. So it's nice there. So I am curious. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure if this deck has an infinite combo or is its entire plan just kind of like a fair beatdown plan. But I gotta imagine there's a combo somewhere. Unless it's just because you can put this in the graveyard and then have Lazoff become a 5/5, which is not a bad stat line for 3 mana. So I'm not sure. Like I said, let me know down in the comment section what about this deck am I missing, because there is a lot here and it looks super sweet. I must be missing something. It might be one of those decks where I just need to play the deck to see how it actually functions. Because at face value, the deck looks like it should be a combo, but at the same time, it looks like it might just be a straight beatdown deck. I'm not sure. But we have 3 more decks to cover. Let's get into it. So next on my list is this blue-white reanimating enchantments deck. So this deck, I think, did get a 5-0 previously, but it looked too controlling. This version looks less controlling, so I am a little bit more interested in it. So the deck, we have our Picklock Pranksters and our Archaeologist to help fill up the yard. Later, we try to Awakening, get back a Omniscience, so that way we can start casting our Shark Typhoons for free. We could also just get back a Shark Typhoon with Awakening, get a 1/1 Shark Typhoon, which is not ideal, just because you rather have Omniscience and then immediately cast a Shark Typhoon not as a creature, so that way it's harder to answer. Of course, this deck is utilizing Thirst for Meaning, because you do have so many enchantments, so you could just draw 3, discard your Omniscience, discard your Shark Typhoons, and you're pretty satisfied with that result. Since we are an enchantment-based deck, we do have 2 temporary lockdowns in the main. I'm assuming, there is none on the board, which is okay, right? You don't need that many of those in general. We have 1 Faithful Mending as a way to help draw, facilitate our hand, while also discarding away our bulky enchantments. 3 Dig Through Times, because we do fill up our yard with Archaeologist, Picklock Prankster, and the Thirst for Meaning, so that's kind of nice. We have a little bit of removal with Soul Partition and Get Lost. And in the sideboard, we do have a couple Smites as a little bit of early game kill target creature that's small. 2 Grand Abolishers to stop, I'm assuming, combo or people interfering with our Awakening, so that's kind of nice. 3 Dovin's Vetoes to play the control game against other control decks or combo decks. 1 Narset, good against control. Phoenix, because they draw a lot of cards. 3 Line of Sanctity for black-based strategies, because they do play Thoughtseize. We kind of don't want that. I would assume we don't want that, because we don't want our Awakening to get picked out of our hand. 1 Settle the Wreckage plus 1 Verdict to fight aggro decks. 2 Sea Sharks. Additionally, I'm pretty sure this is for aggro decks, where we make the little token, make it do it with a creature, and maybe stop attacking altogether. So that is Azorius Awakening combo enchantment style. So this is one of the decks I think the more enchantments we get, the sweeter this deck is going to be. I am kind of curious why this deck isn't playing the one with the multiverse. I think that's what it's called, which is like the other pseudo omniscient. But I guess you don't really have that much room from actually casting, having a lot of interaction in your deck. Because, I mean, Pioneer is a little bit of a faster format. I would say it's about a turn 4. You need to be able to have something going. And against Prowess, you definitely need a decent amount of answers to slow them down. So I do think this deck could struggle in those matchups. But it is an interesting deck nonetheless to try out and see how it actually functions. I am now offering Patreon and Locals content exclusive. It includes sideboard guides, budget guides, exclusive videos, as well as other types of content. If you want to check out the link, it's in the description. Now, let's get back into the video. But we got 2 more decks. Let's get into them. So next on my list is the second. There's 2 Orof decks that I have left to talk about. And this one is Humans. Now, what I like about Orof and Pioneer, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the cheapest mana base, which is a nice thing to have going for it. Because Concealed Courtyard, I believe, is under $1. Cave of Koilos is probably the cheapest pain land. Probably even Godless Shrine is probably the cheapest shock. But where you do get a little bit of the expensive side is you do want some Cavern of Souls so that you don't get got by control. Now, why play this over Mono White? You get Fatal Push. That's a huge addition, right? Dire Tactics for exile base removal. That's a very nice way of going about things because you rather exile than destroy, especially against the mouse and other decks like that, where even if you kill it, you still take some decent amount of damage, and you want to minimize that. For some reason, this deck is playing a 3-mana Thalia. I'm not really sure if that's worth it or not, but, it's pretty sweet nonetheless. We still have our recruitment officers, Kithians, Hopeful Initiate. We're playing black for Blood-Soaked Champion. A nice recurable 1-drop. That's still a 2/1. Savannah Lions. We also have our Vanguards to tax our opponent out from target removal. We still have our Thousands of Tenants to pump our team. Veteran Survivor, a couple copies for a little bit of graveyard heat. We're not playing the full amount of Bodyguard, but 2 might be enough. We also have a couple Dejarna as a way to do some exile, so it's good against Phoenix, Fang, where exile in their graveyard matters. Even against control, like giving the hexproof and the indestructible, it's kind of nice. And also, exiling a Memory Deluge is nothing to scoff at, right? That is a legit line. We have, looks like 3 Adelines in 1 General Kudrow. You don't really want multiple Adelines unless you expect a heavy amounts of removal. So it's kind of nice to have only 3 in that regard. A couple Brutal Cathards for a little bit of removal. And some Thalias to tax your opponent's removal. Sideboard, we have a couple Portable Holes for aggro. A couple Thoughtseizes for Rakdos min-range. Rakdos and control. And combo, so that's kind of nice. Priest for Transmog. 2 Graveyard Trespassers for Graveyard Heat. That is actually a legit reason to want to be in black. That's a nice human to have as a little bit of target Graveyard Heat. That's definitely better than Rest in Peace because you still get to apply pressure as well as still getting frisky, right? And still take care of their Phoenixes, their vehicles. 1 Vanishing Verse. You know, it's just a really good removal spell. That's also exile based, so it's good against Rakdos Prowess and stuff like that. 1 Get Lost, kind of a catch-all removal spell. Enchantments, artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, creatures, you name it. Lauren for a little bit of artifact enchantment removal. Cabal as a way to fight Phoenix, Lotus Field, stuff like that, where they cast a lot of spells in one turn. 3 wedding announcements for the grinding matchups like control and mid-range. And that is Orzhov Humans for Pioneer. A pretty sweet list. So we have one more deck to talk about, and let's get into it. So next on my list is Orzhov Demons. Now, why do I want to talk about this list? 2 reasons. 1, we're Orzhov. 2, we're playing Blade of the Oni. So, I don't know why we're playing this card, but it is a sweet demon. So in that regard, it is a sweet addition. So we're playing 4 copies of that, plus 4 slashers. And then we have 4 bloodletters of Alcazods and 3 Shieldrids. So we're not really playing the Archfiend of the draws, but I think that's fine. We're basically cutting the Archfiend for the Blade of Ani. I'm not sure if that is the correct move, but it is definitely a sweet one you could do. Of course, we're playing Urborg, so this is not legal on Explorer. You have 4 pushes for great early interaction, plus Thoughtseize. Now, weirdly enough, we do have Vanishing Verse, so it's good in the mirror, right? We could exile their Annex, as well as some other like talent and stuff like that. So there's a lot of non-creature spells you can answer with a Vanishing Verse, especially in this current meta. Like I said, we do have our 4 Annexes and our 4 Mutavaults to make sure we have enough demons to make sure we don't take damage from that. Sideboard, though, we have a couple Rest in Peace because it's the best graveyard hate spell in the format. 2 Duresses for a little bit of additional hand disruption. 3 Archon of Emeria. It's decent against green. Phoenix, good against Lotus Field. So, like, there's definitely some matchups where Archon of Emeria is actually really good. I do like it. We have 1 Meat Hook of Massacre, plus Path of Peril, and a Cry of Canarium and Extinction Event. These are all good against aggro. I imagine against aggro, you're probably not wanting the Blade at all, because it doesn't really do a lot. Thoughtseize as well, you probably want to trim back there, or Shieldrids. We have Invoke Despair, plus Liliana the Veil. Great against grinding matchups, control, maybe not really combo, especially since some combo decks like their stuff in the graveyard. But Invoke Despair is good against mid-range and control, more so than Fatal Push. So that's a nice little addition there. So I like the fact that we have a decent wide spread of, sideboard options in most matchups of the Tier 1 meta for Pioneer. So that is it for the deck list, and I got through it. I was kind of worried my voice is going up and down when it comes to being able to talk correctly after doing the last 2 recordings. So it seems like when I do like 3 back-to-back straight up detail type videos, that definitely puts a lot of strain on my voice, I guess. But let me know down in the comment section which one of these decks was your favorite, because I would definitely be interested in trying these, like I said, in a live stream or on the paywall YouTube section. And make sure you guys join. Because it is a great way of supporting the content that I do, especially with the the non-support from Wizards of the Coast. I'm not really supporting Pioneer right now. Like, it definitely makes it a lot harder for me. So hopefully you guys can help as well. Despite even just watching and liking the videos is actually very helpful, because it makes it where more people see my videos. And if they're interested in Pioneer content, they should definitely check out my content. Like I said, I want to all what you want me to know down in the comment section. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Shout out to all my supporters, and if you want to see any other content from me, check out either one of these 2 videos and playlist. And I'll talk to you soon.